learning to live.
So this whole alcoholism thing is still kind of a new... I mean, AA has only been around for 80 years. I mean, I think science and... We're still trying to figure out like addiction in the mind, and is it a disease? I mean, we call it a disease, but it's like a self-diagnosed disease. You can't like look at someone and say, "Oh, you're an alcoholic." Right. It has to be something that you recognize within yourself. You go, "Okay, I'm powerless over drugs and alcohol. It's ruined my life. I can't manage my life on my own. I need a spiritual. I have a spiritual malady. What do they say? Like I have a deficiency, and it has to do with like a lack of spiritual...
You say it's a spiritual malady, yeah.
It's a spiritual malady. So really the only thing that can relieve me of this disease, this insanity, is God or a power greater than myself, which there's so many parallels with Christianity and the Sermon on the Mount. We have a meeting here every Monday called the Sermon on the Mount, and everything they talk about in that book, humility, powerlessness, removing yourself from the bondage of self. And it's like what you were saying, just getting up and just letting things happen, like trying to be like water. Not one point, not a single point in time on the whole trip was she like out of control or even really looking like she was high. That's just because she doesn't do it like the way we do it.
Well, right. She doesn't take 10 hits at once.
No, she doesn't. You know what I mean? And she didn't. She's just...
Yeah, they're smart. I wish I knew that back then. I thought you got to take more, man. I wanted to lose control. That's what I was going for, man.
A lot of my followers are sober, right? So, and they respect or want to get sober or were sober or are interested in sobriety. So they're like, "Oh, your strength, you're strong, you're so inspiring. I would never be able to hang out around those people, blah, blah, blah." So then they see her and they're like, they're putting their own shit on her because we don't even understand how somebody could take drugs responsibly. But people can, and she does.
Well, it seems now that we're starting to understand, but God, that was like satanic in AA to even like entertain that. And I could, it is because... In the beginning, you can't fuck around. You got to let your friends go. You got to get out of that. I mean, at least most people do. I certainly did. I could not be, because you're fucking jonesing hard, man. Like I had to sit on my hand. I had to sit on my hands at night and like go to 5 meetings a day and like
for sure. But
it's not easy at all. It's almost impossible.
But what happens when you're 15 years sober?
Then things change,
right? So it's like it even says in the book, we don't like avoid these things.
Yeah.
Right. And I mean, to be totally honest with you, the week I got out of rehab,
your situation's different.
Yeah.
It's been different.
Yeah. Everyone's is different. But the week I got out of rehab, I was like around some old friends and they were drinking and I was like, fine. I don't know. I just think you have to be honest with yourself. And
so maybe you could be around shit. I don't know.
Yeah, I wouldn't
make it hard. I wouldn't tempt.
No, but I also wouldn't like stay home for a really good friend's birthday. And like, I also wouldn't avoid going to that party just because you think there's going to be
drugs
but
I would let my support group know what's going down.
For sure. Yeah. Well, I always told my sponsor everything.
Yeah.
And I would even like call him if I was at a party. I guess different people have different abilities to be honest and open. So for me, like, I'm not fucking around. Like, if I feel some shit, I'm leaving and calling my sponsor. That's it. Yeah, I'm not drinking. I'm just not going to fucking do it. I'm not going to take some drugs.
Yeah, well, why would you just completely throw your life in the trash?
I'm just
and feel like shit and lose everything.
Yeah, it's just not an option.
I got sober when I was 21, been playing music. I mean, I actually grew up playing drums in church. Started doing this, playing in punk bands and doing this and that. And drugs and alcohol were, kind of introduced to me at an early age. And the only reason I got sober was for music. And I kind of stand by that, which is, and I still live this where I say without music, I don't have sobriety. And without sobriety, I don't have music. So somehow, some way, I will always have my hand in music.
And you spent a lot of time on the road.
Yes, I want to say probably the first close to 8 years of my sobriety was on the road.
So what's that like? Is that like kind of a trudge?
You know, it was definitely, you know, like during the meeting, I actually shared something where, you know, I've heard a lot of people, and I've probably even said it, God willing.
I was saying it.
Yeah, but God willing, right? God willing, Pat's gonna, you know, put his shirt back on or whatever. No, Pat has to be willing to put his shirt back on. God's willing. Like, God is willing to help me stay sober. It was Mikey that had to be willing. I knew that I couldn't get behind a drum set and drink. I just knew. I couldn't do it. So it was very, very hard.
So in that sense, you're saying trying to stay sober and be on the road was a real challenge.
Very,
okay.
Very, yeah.
Young guy on the road in a successful band and sober.
Yeah.
Like what?
I just had to separate myself in a sense. I knew when not to talk to people. I knew when to stay away. And I knew I was out there to do a job. And the only way I could do my job was to stay sober. So whether it's we fly to Alaska and the disease of alcoholism is in my brain saying, you're in Alaska. You're playing 3 sold-out shows in a row. You could kill somebody right now. Like, obviously not kill somebody, but my brain, I'm like, it's 9 o'clock at night and the sun is out. I could do anything I want to. You know.
You mean like get high?
Yeah.
And nobody would know.
Nobody would know.
Yeah.
And my thinking
I
was
like, what do you say?
Right. No.
But I